Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Nisha. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so very much for being here. Today is my birthday and I'm turning more into my mid going towards late 40s. Yes, so grateful, but also a little shocking. Okay. So yes. I love birthdays and I took the day off from work, which I haven't done purposely for a very long time. So I'm really excited about that. And so my birthday is March 16th, and that's Pisces in Western astrology. And I guess depending, pretty firmly Pisces in Vedic astrology as well. And I've studied both. I am by no means proficient in either, but I love symbology. I love archetype. I love the possibilities and the characteristics of who we are and what we can create with systems also reflecting that. I'm also an INTJ in the Myers-Briggs. I'm a number 7, and I am definitely those things. Very much intellect and intuition. So, and into all the Claire, Psi, all those things. And, which now with quantum physics and all those things, the possibilities are endless. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about being a Pisces, pretty hardcore. And in Western astrology, I'm a Pisces sun with an Aries ascending and an Aquarian moon. And in Vedic astrology, I'm a Pisces sun and ascending. And so, I have very little. So I have air and fire, and with my fire just like being nearly useless in terms of my chart because it's covered by all these other things, and very little earth. So, I think that as Pisces in general, or in like pop astrology and pop spirituality, people tend to really hyper focus on your sun sign. And I guess to some extent it's validated, but I would say it's definitely usually not validated, or, because there's a lot of nuances in chart. There's a lot of things that happen. You're constantly, in my estimation, you're constantly co-creating with who you are and with whoever you call your higher power, if you do it all. I mean, every single thought, every single action from here on out, from this second on, is what's building your future. And so, and changing what the present moment will be, if that makes sense. So anyways, I wanted to talk about Pisces specifically because I think, now being an older, wiser woman, I have spent a lot of time like studying and researching everything from all different cultures about the possibility of who we are, and in terms of like personal development, self-development, from a very like the more practical science-based stuff to spiritual programs, to programs of recovery, and the wisdom that's out there, for me, is, especially in today's world, just access to it is stunning. It's amazing what people have accomplished, what people are figuring out, and what people are sharing. And so I've been on this path, I would say, for like the last, like consciously for the last 13 years, probably 13, 14 years. And I would say with astrology, with Vedic astrology, with Vedic astrology, is trying to understand it, I would say, for the last 5 or 6 years. And with Western astrology, like I've taken classes here and there as well. And the part of these astrologies that I'm really interested in is the natal chart, just to look at characteristics of what your talents are based on the day, time, and place that you were born. I am not into predictions or anything like that. I'm just into kind of like that static natal chart picture and everything that you can take from that throughout your life. Kind of like the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram, my very basic understanding of those things. And numerology. I know that you can get way more in depth and really look at planetary transits and all those things. And numerology has all kinds of things as well, and these other programs too. But again, my focus and my interest lies in that static picture of your characteristics, of who you are when you were born. I realize all of these things are very much specifically man-made and interpreted. But I think now, especially just in the last like 15 years, it's just, we have so much more wisdom around it, a lot of people's experiences around it, a lot of like changes to these systems, and not to the bones of the system, but to how people are relating to them and the stories around them, which I'm so excited about. I'm so grateful to be here during this time because, I think that if systems don't meet people where they're at as well, they don't almost like deserve to move forward if they're not welcoming to everyone and up to interpretations that are healing and empowering for everyone, is how I view it. So back to being a Pisces, I think a lot of people, at least I have felt that even just in some of the retellings, even some people, seems to be older people or people who have studied astrology since before the last 20 years, still stick to the notion that Pisces are highly emotional and very sensitive. And that seems to really typically be the focus. And I would say yes, those are things that I've noticed. And I don't want to downplay the fact that there are a lot of Pisceans who are extremely bright and have leadership qualities and who start companies and run countries and start scientific movements like Einstein, one of many. And I think that sensitivity is not, it can be emotional, but that's been given a bad rap. Hopefully from here on out, it won't be. Because I think it's that level of sensitivity, whether it's sensorially, emotionally, intellectually, that kind of observational the characteristic helps with Pisces looking at the larger picture, looking beyond the material, focusing on those things, focusing on synchronicities, really looking at the details of things that kind of enhances intuition and opens them up more to pushing the boundaries of what it means to be human and what our capacity in every manifestation can be. So that's the story that's how I read Pisceans. And also, Pisces tend to be very, they see the truth for what it is. Healthier Pisces, I do agree that for unhealthy Pisces, I would say not even unhealthy, I would say Pisces that are not yet aware of their own capabilities can get into addiction, that addictive mentality, which is a mentality, I feel, and it's also a biochemical thing, but to where the focus is so strong into the material world. And so when that happens and you don't allow for your own freedom of pondering and looking at the world beyond 3D, that we don't do very well. We're not really using our innate gifts for ourselves, much less for other people. And that's what I found for myself, and I had to learn for years the hard way. So Pisces also, I think what people forget is that it's like, it's the 12th sign, which also means that it encompasses all the other signs. So we've been there, depending on what you believe, but this is the story, and I'm taking this symbolically, but we've been there, done that. And so we have all the signs within us. We've experienced all those things. And so it's not that we are just like these wet rags who are just emotional. And when I say emotional, I mean crying, anger, primary and secondary emotions. It's not that we're just that for like no reason. It's because we symbolically have experienced and know what it is to have primary characteristics from all the other signs. And so because we've had those very, very human dense experiences, at a Pisces level, we're kind of now opening ourselves up to beyond the very dense 3D manifestation, right? And so it's kind of like endless possibilities. And that really suits me because I'm really into that idea of the 4-minute mile, right? Like whatever, I truly believe, that humans, that we are capable of anything and everything. I tend towards like the better things in life, pushing us forward towards the better things, like living a better life for ourselves and for other people. And, I guess the flip side of the coin would be also terrible things, which, not so great. But I think as Pisces, it's kind of like our responsibility, no matter what age we're in, whether it's Piscean age, Aquarian age, whatever, it behooves us, like within ourselves and within our souls and within our hearts, to really give ourselves, if no one else does, give yourself that chance for like that self-connection with your higher self, exploring all these other non-physical ways that humans can develop, can really help the world and ourselves. And I think that's where a lot of our power really lies. And we know, just like scientifically, quantum physics, a lot of what parts of religion, a lot of spiritual practices, witchery, paganism, all these things, all these wisdom things that people have been talking about since the dawn of humanhood, has truth to it. And I think that Pisces, that kind of sensibility, or people with that strong sensibility, are really able to cut to that truth. And so I am saying all of this because I have felt that a lot of times being a Pisces, even symbolic, like how the story was told to me was just never really, I felt accurate. I never felt like a weak person. I never felt like, especially like inside, I know just through my life, and not in an arrogant way, but like you go through life and you kind of look back and you're like, forged by fire. I think a lot of like very strong Pisces people who have like a lot of Pisces characteristics and like in their charts and things like that, God willing, if you're able to get through things and you survive, and you are then creating a conscious life, which I will define as like a thriving life, which is what, knock on wood, with depending on what my higher power has planned for me, I'm going to do my best to have a conscious life for the next 45 years. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I want to create my own life. So it's like these stages. It's just like I was kind of unconscious. I really didn't know what was going on. I was like very heavily into the material world, which was very upsetting, I think, just for the nature of who I am. To now, like, just journeying through all this stuff over the last 13, 14 years, learning a lot and growing myself a lot. And now I'm here at this point. The growing and the learning never ends, but I feel like I'm stronger internally than I have ever been. I didn't do it alone. There are other, like, I would say, like, great spirit or divine love or whatever you want to call this entity that creates us, has brought a lot of people, has shown themselves through a lot of people in my life and a lot of groups and just like situations and all these things. So I'm extremely grateful, and I feel very, like, internally very powerful. And so I may not want to run a country. I'm not interested in that. I don't get a lot of life satisfaction from leading teams, like at work. I'm a leader in terms of how I show up at work and my characteristics, but I don't necessarily want to lead a team of 25 people. I've done that before. I didn't like it. And I will also say leadership is a skill. Most people who think they're good leaders, even if they have natural capacity, are actually not. And it's a learned thing, just like drawing, just like most people who, like, I think I'm a terrible drawer, but I know I'm not a great drawer, but I love drawing, so I'm gonna learn to draw, but that's like a conscious decision. It's like, it's something that I want to do, whereas like leading teams is not something that I necessarily want to grow in a sense. But I still find that I do adhere to the characteristics of kind of being like, I love ideas, I love innovation, I love entrepreneurship, I love, these things that really help, that just show the best of who we are, in our lives, who we are personally, but also who we are as humanity and towards one another. So I'm really saying a lot here, but the point of it is that, like, if you're a Pisces and you have a lot of, or you feel like your charts are just not as sexy or as cool as like a Leo, with a good sun placement and all these things, like, that's envy, which is also a characteristic. But I would say, like, it's not true. There's so many good things, and I'm finally at age 46, like, really seeing that within myself and really appreciating it and making me excited for the things and the goals that I do have in mind. And yeah, I don't ever feel that that's a deficit, because and just because people, like, even like I'm saying, seasoned astrologers, the way they paint the Pisces is just like, God, it's just like some big martyr, pitiable character, and that's absolutely not it. And there's a astrologer that I saw recently, and she's actually very good. And because I was expressing some of these things, and this is not meant to be shown. Pisces are the ultimate manifestors, and I put manifestors. Anyway, so I wrote this down when she told me that, and I was like, that's so true. We truly are, and I really believe that we can manifest anything. And I don't mean like in the traditional, like The Secret kind of thing, but like in a very real practical time, like in a real practical way over time. It might take 10 years, but there are certain practices that we can engage in, and people to be around to have the same mindset to affect these things in the highest and best possible way. And another thing I just wanted to say is that, you know, the physical world it's a lagging indicator. It does not tell you of what your potential is. Like, there's really, you know, I love stories of people who are just total, like, lack for a better word, like underdogs, like had no reason at all to move out of their lot in life. And by that, I don't mean like destiny or fate. I just mean like they just maybe come from a household or generations of people who kind of stayed within their own confines, like in terms of mentally, like just never really were told in any certain way that they really could do anything that they wanted, or they could really ever reach their goals. And I know by now it's probably a cliche thing to say, but for years, you know, like through addiction and when I started getting into recovery and stuff, those stories, those very real stories and those interviews I heard just fascinated me and just like fed me in such a way like nothing else did. And I believe that. And so I think that's why I've kind of, you know, like that mustard seed of faith. That's all you need. And like, it's not easy and it will take time, but you know, you will find a way. We will all find a way. So yeah, like again, like the physical world is just, it's a lagging indicator. It does not show your potential. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be people around you who can't help, or just like, you know, help foster these great things that you have in your mind and in your heart to affect one day. So anyways, that's the birthday message for today. And be powerful in who you are and know that you are. And I will talk to you soon. Yay, yay, happy birthday. Yay, Pisces. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.